Peace. We like to welcome everyone to the Sister Cypher. I have with me Alex Little and Cat Boogie from the Bronx.
Blessings.
We welcome everyone to make sure you please hit the like button, subscribe or share. If you want to hit Professor Griff up on Cash App, you can. You can hit him up on the Super Chat as well as PayPal. And ladies, what's going on? You want to say peace to the chat room?
Blessings, blessings, everyone.
Hi, Sirius Mindz family. Peace to you all.
Okay. So tonight, ladies, what we're going to do is discuss the story about the young teen swimmer who was disqualified because of her swimsuit. And so basically, I want to get your input on it. We're going to be discussing tonight some topics when it comes to what's acceptable in society, especially when it comes to a Black woman. And so basically, with this story, ladies, there was a high school swimmer in Alaska who basically, you know, I guess she's very good at doing the 100 meter, you know, and what have you. So basically, she was basically overturned with one of her meets because the referee basically determined that her uniform was in violation, and basically saying that her swimsuit was a little too revealing. So I want to get your take on this, ladies, like this whole idea of having your body not only just critical and about what you have to do as a swimmer and as a woman, having to wear a bathing suit in public like that, but also like she's basically being body shamed for her shapes and her curves and everything. So I want to get your take on it, ladies. What's your thoughts on this?
Peace. Alex here. Hello, everyone. Peace, Professor Griff and Sirius Mindz family. So first, I wanted to note that this young woman is 17 years old, and her name is Brecken Willis, for those who don't know. She actually is one of Alaska's top female swimmers, and she won the state titles in the 200 meter freestyle and, as you mentioned, the 100 meter butterfly last year. See, this is the thing. See, her and her sister, Dreamer Kowach, it's Brecken Willis and her sister, Dreamer Kowach. Her sister even won Alaska's 500 meter freestyle last year. Mm-hmm. But see, what they don't talk about is their mom, Megan Kowach. They had a run-in with the same referee with her sister Dreamer, who openly critiqued her swimsuit too. So this is the second time this has happened. And as you mentioned, body shaming. It's not fair. This young woman didn't purposely create a wedgie for her to be disqualified. I think that it's a shame that it came to this, but I want to hear what Kat has to say.
This reminds me a little of, I think it was like 2 years ago, maybe last year, with the Williams sister. Serena Williams goes through the same thing over and over. Enough with the rules and regulation when it comes to women of colors. We are not shaped the same. We are not built the same. Absolutely. Therefore, if you're going to separate us or judge us based on what we have, in, that's where the problem starts and lies. We have to stick together again and actually let the people know. I mean, who's at the top letting us know that what we're wearing is not appropriate? I mean, it comes down to stereotyping, discrimination. I think we should just stick together and actually voice our opinion in regards to this, because enough with the body shaming. We are not built the same at all. And we shouldn't have to please these people. So we have to go on diets, take away our hips. We have to beautify ourselves. If we have hips, curves, and all that, oh well. Swim, sister, swims. Do what you have to do.
Yeah.
Because I guess because I don't know if you guys are like most young Black girls. We develop way faster than a lot of other folks, right? And so clearly we are going to have curves because we come from DNA that has curves and hips and beauty and voluptuous. And just, you know, at the end of the day, it's like we can't help it. It's just, we're just built that way. And I just want to get your take on the idea that, you know, being that we as a Black woman may mature and start having curves sooner, because I can see some young girls like 9 and 10 years old and they have breasts. You know what I'm saying? So they're very well developed. And it's just, as a Black woman, what are your thoughts on this whole idea of us maturing before anybody else and how we can deal with it and tell our young daughters how to deal with it?
I mean, growing up, yes, I got it. Growing up, I do recall my father and my mother telling us that we have to value our bodies. And although we're not shaped like other culture or other ethnic groups, we have to come to terms with we have big, beautiful lips, nose. We're not going to look like the average Joe. It's unfortunate that I think we're going to talk about it, discuss it in a little while, that there's a standard of beauty that the Western people idolize. And sometimes we fall victimized to that. But we have to start when we're young, letting our ladies know, our girl know that, you know, we are beautiful. And being different is wonderful. It's wonderful. And we should be proud of that.
Absolutely.
Because we don't have to look like the same average plain Mary Jane. And I refuse for anyone to tell any of my young ladies, you know what, you're not worth, you're not valued because you have a big nose, you have lips, you're dark skin. So it starts from when we are young.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I think that was wonderfully put, Kat. And not only that, but when you mentioned Serena Williams, this young lady is an athlete, okay? So she has a muscular tone. I mean, it says that Brecken started out bench pressing 65 pounds, and now she's bench pressing 150 pounds. So she's a very healthy and fit young woman. So, I mean, as a reminder, Brecken is almost 18, so her body naturally is more prone to being developed more, you know, than the other swimmers by default. So, again, it's not anything for her to be ashamed of. And back to the whole point of the wedgie, where her swimsuit was inappropriate, there are many body types that women have, men swimmers too, but since we're sticking to this issue, it doesn't have to just only be solely for a large muscular build. There are petite young women who might not have any curves or have the body type of maybe an inverted triangle that can still get a wedgie too and expose just as much. So regardless if we want to pin this as harassment and minimize it from racial bias, it's just discrimination, period, to be looking at a 17-year-old girl's ass in a swim meet instead of her capability. That's
Absolutely.
The real issue.
Mm-hmm. Well, so there are a lot of people throwing a lot of buzzwords around and basically saying that, white women or whatever is jealous of Black women. They're jealous of our body types, and this is why they fight so hard for us, right? I mean, against us. And basically, a lot of times you see in the media where with this particular story, this, clearly this woman had an issue with this baby. I'm gonna call her a baby because she's not a woman yet. She's still a baby in my eyes. If she had an issue with her, she could have dealt with this a whole different way, but she didn't. And it is very, to me, it felt like it was very, just in a nutshell, to me, I don't want to sound too racist, but basically for me, it felt like as if she was a white girl, more than likely she probably would not have been told anything at all. And I don't like to always assume that it's a racial issue or what have you, but to me, it's just in this particular case, I think it was overall racist. What's your thought on it, Alex?
Well, I mean, for me, it hits home because there are people who see this event and want to say, oh, she's not Black, she has a white parent. These people are just blowing this out of proportion. And to those people, I say, how dare you? How dare you define her Blackness and her experience from your biased perception to this one event? You don't know what she goes through on a regular basis. So before we denounce this as a racial issue, because I think it is a racial issue, and I have a white parent too, as well as a Black parent. So this hits home. So what I want to say to all women that may have experienced, that haven't, what Brecken has experienced, let's talk about the mental disorders behind it. Since white women want to feel included too with this issue, and for the white women that can't understand that this is racially charged, let me tell you the possible potential side effects young Brecken can actually have behind being disqualified by a biased, irresponsible reverse decision that this anonymous referee made. What if, for example, she ended up having a mental disorder such as avoidant restrictive food disorder, Or what if she became anorexic and got anorexia nervosa? Or what if she got bulimia nervosa behind this and started, having excessive food consumption and binge eating and puking? What if she started purging? There's different things that can result behind this. So I just think that it's a poor attempt to minimalize this and make it harassment when basically it's a racial issue. Anytime someone can be overlooked for their competence athletically, being an Alaska state recognized athlete, prejudiced, shamed, harassed, ridiculed, teased, disciplined, disqualified, penalized, discriminated, however you want to say it, we don't see any other white swimmer experiencing this same type of result. And not only that, but I say this is racially biased. And not only that, but the decision is being reversed, and that referee is getting decertified. So you can't say, oh, she's just not black, she's half white. You can't say what she is. You don't know who she is. So I think it's not fair to people to define who she is or how black she is based off of what they see from the outside in. Because you see how she was treated in society, whether or not she was all the way black. So I think, yeah.
But honestly, that's the thing. Like, they know when they're not dealing with their own. It's not a matter of just saying, oh, let's just point out this race or another. But at the end of the day, they can distinguish themselves from anybody else on this planet. Right? And at the end of the day, I'm quite sure when she saw her, she knew in her heart that this is a black girl, whether she had a mixed parents or not. At the end of the day, how white supremacy sees us, we all the N-word, basically. I could have said it, but I'm not going to say it because I'm trying not to curse as much on the show.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, when they look at anybody else who's not as, put it like this, who's more melanated than them, yes. In their eyes, we're all the N-word, period. It's about domination, and it's about continuing what their agenda was from day one, and so okay, I'm off my soapbox.
No, it's all right. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
And real quick, I just wanted to insert too, and we are talking about that virus, that mindset of white supremacy. You can't tell her she ain't black in this situation to minimize it and make it non-existent in a fringe situation to where it's not excessive in the media. You can't make her less black. Don't try to deny the situation and what it is for what it is. It just bothers me. You can't make somebody be black when you want them to and not black when it's beneficial for you. Call it out as racial exploitation and let it be known. Don't sweep it under the rug.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I agree with you.
I agree too.
Tony, I'm sorry, Carrie, you want to add anything?
I mean, Alex said it in a nutshell. My concern is towards self-hatred. This is what the propaganda is. I mean, whether you're black or you're biracial, we still tend to, the media and everyone attached to the media wants to portray us as ugly, wants that we're self-worthless, that we don't matter, that our bodies are nothing to be, appealing. It's self-hatred. And we have to be mindful that there are young little girls out there who are actually tuned in, watching these athletes, watching these swimmers. And what message are you sending them? It's just corruption all around. The media, portraying us as the bodies that we should be ashamed of. So that's why I said we have to, from young, let our daughters and sisters know that we are beautiful no matter what.
Mm-hmm. So since you are talking about the standard of beauty, let's talk about what the masses will consider as beauty, or what white supremacy would see as beauty and acceptable compared to us. Because a lot of times certain features will look more favorable to that particular group. But for the most part, like, we as women, we can talk about how we bleach our skin, how we're basically doing a lot of crazy things as far as like having surgeries. There's a lot of different things that's going on in our community that needs to be addressed. And we don't talk about these things because it's like the ugly side of us. It's like, we don't want to talk about the woman who doesn't feel secure enough in herself or believe that she's beautiful, and she goes under the knife and then ends up dying from it. You know what I'm saying? And there's like, basically in Africa and in the Caribbean, Basically, there are people bleaching their skins, dying from this stuff. You get what I'm saying? To the point where they want to be acceptable of something else. It's like, no, God, the creator, whatever you worship, the source, did not make a mistake when he came to you. You know what I mean? Like, he did not make a mistake. You have to love yourself enough to say, okay, whatever I was born with, that's what God wanted me to look like. That's what he made me to be like. And I have to appreciate my own beauty, because for so long we have been told that you're ugly, your nose is too big, your lips is too big, you know, your butt is too big, you have too many curves. And then now it's a fad. Everybody wants curves. Everybody wants big lips. Everybody wants darker skin. Everybody wants to be black until it's time to be black.
You're right about that.
They want to be black until it's time to be black. When we fight in the struggle, it's like, I'm looking around like, where are they? We don't have allies. We don't have friends. You know, so I want to get your take on it, ladies, and we'll go into it a little deeper with this topic.
You want to take that one, Alex, first?
Yeah, and to the Sirius Mindz family in the chat, you know, when we look at this Brecken co-watch situation with the 17-year-old young lady being a state-recognized athlete and her being disqualified, when terms are used like, oh, well, she's disqualified, not because she's ugly, not because she actually won it, but because her inner gluteal cleft was showing. I mean, that's just, that's getting crazy. Her inner gluteal cleft. Like, who comes up with that? That just shows you by any means it's trying to tear down and destroy natural God-given talent. So that referee, again, I think she should be sat down and needs to get a manual because it was a poor decision. And again, it was racially biased. But that's crazy. When it comes to the skin bleaching and just skin and beauty overall, especially in the community, the Black community, with our beautiful Black women, I think hair is always going to be a trending topic.
Yes.
I think skin tone is always going to be a trending topic. I think that natural versus adding in additions, whether it's hair extensions or nails, to add the accessory to complement the natural beauty, I think that's a part of being a woman. Some women are natural, some women like to, you know, put extra on. That doesn't take away from one's inner beauty. It's just like adornments, kind of like jewelry. What I will say is, Quan, to your statement of God, you know, giving us who we are, the way we are for a reason, I think that we should all look at who is making the standard of beauty.
Yes.
Who is setting this trend that pale or ghostly white skin is the best economical social caste, period. Like, that's the number one top way to be. I guess I want to know where that was set. So when we look at that and think that that's the only one standard way of beauty, that in itself shouldn't be acceptable, because we're all diverse. We're all multicultural. We all have different ideas of what beauty is. And it shouldn't be based on skin complexion. It should be based on what we like as far as adding colors to hair, colors to clothes, colors to earrings, or just whatever one chooses. So I don't think it should be to where we have to damage our skin or hurt ourselves to become what we think is socially acceptable versus innate fulfillment.
Right. I mean, you're right, Alex. And also, it's like you said, the Western view of what's beautiful. I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect complexion when it comes to women of color. We all come in different shades. We all have different body types. It's mostly we are being damaged or we are being brainwashed, like I said earlier, because of the media and what they perceive as beautiful. I'm truly appalled by certain things that I see. I mean, growing up, especially in the Spanish community, you know, as a little young girl, if your hair is thick and it's not straight, automatically you ugly. If you have big nose, big lips, that's a no. If your skin is dark, that's a no. So it starts from young, and like I said, most of our countries were, you know, were conquered by European. So we went by what they accepted, like the house person will be dark skinned and the house person will be lighter, and the person that's dark is outside in the field. So we still have that mindset regardless, and this is what we're trying to do to be accepted, even in the workplace. It's the same thing. Beauty is based on their standards, and it's to a point that it's like sad because it's 2019. So when this gonna stop?
That, but the system has been oiled and running well for a very long time, and they're fighting tooth and nail. So again, this is just honestly, when I look at the standard of Western beauty, it's never anyone that looks like us, right? And it's like, no, you have to have a thinner nose. No, you have to have the straight blonde hair. No, you have to have this. It's not to say that we as a people do not have blonde hair, but it's like a lot of that is pushed on us. Like we need to be lighter, like lighter is better.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, that is so psychotic, like to the point where they've screwed us up so much mentally that we are doing these things that's killing us and degrading us in a sense. What's your thought on that, Alex? I want to know your take on it.
It is, and this is such a beautiful opportunity to speak about this as adult women, and for other women of color, specifically Black women, African descent, to understand that it's okay to be who you are, where you are. And it's funny for me because my mother happens to be blue-eyed, blonde hair. And me growing up, having, a dark-skinned father, I knew that for me, I was always lighter, but I didn't like being identified as the white girl. And as far as Kat making the comment about hair, I've always had a huge, full, thick head of curls. I'm talking about thick, thick, thick. But I hated it for so long. As a youth, I would burn my hair straight. I would perm it straight. I would iron it. I was never taught about the beauty and the complexity and the spiritual component behind my hair. I even used to get sew-ins, and it got to a point where I had to really just see myself for who I was and understand that my hair is beautiful. And it's what I think about it. So I think that it's unfortunate that the Western society pushes this agenda of being fair or being thin-lipped or being thin-framed or being straight-haired, because it's not a reflection of the diversity of Black people that we have in this nation. And it's very unfortunate. And as I mentioned, I've always wanted to be darker complected. I think a beautiful skin tone is a darker complexion, whether it's caramel, whether it's cocoa, and I purposely sit in the sun. So it's funny to me. Yeah, it's so funny to me. And I don't even want to use funny. I don't want to use psychotic. I'll say it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we do have women who have this beautiful bronze, cocoa, dark-skinned complexion that self-mutilate and choose to use methods of bleaching because they're unhappy. So I think it's a mental component.
Yes.
Self-awareness component of self-acceptance, being in a society that's not perpetuating being who you are. Because how fair is it for us to praise the Kardashians for getting fake butts, fake breasts, fake lips, which is what we've had the entire time, but now they capitalize and have $1 billion lip gloss industry off of getting an implant when that's who we've been all this time. And that's not
absolutely.
That's no shade towards the Kardashians. That's showing capitalizing off the Black women. So again, I think when we get more comfortable of being who we are and seeing that sister on billboards, in more sitcoms, in more books, in mainstream, being empowered, proud, beautiful Black power. Here I am with my full hair, with my brown skin, with my full lips. There's nothing to be ashamed about. Yes, I have full figures, whether you have big breasts or not. The point of breast is to suckle a baby. I think that the more comfortable we get with having a point of origin to say, hey, Black is beautiful. We don't have to define our Blackness. We only need to be it. I think more young girls will stop reducing who they are and becoming it and allowing it to be more natural or be more accepting and be more proud. And if you do wear weave, that's cool. Just don't not like your own hair. Continue to accessorize yourself, but be proud of who you are because that's who you are. and don't hide who you are based off of Western saying that pale is best, thin is best, because that's not right. And so many young girls commit suicide on a regular basis because they can't be what they think is beautiful, and that's not the narrative that we need to have.
Right. I think that's what Quan tried to mention earlier. It's the mixed messages, like I'm saying. It's on one side for us when it comes to people, women of color, we view as ugly, but as soon as somebody fair skinned or from another race, automatically they want to take what we have. They want to have that big butt. They want to have those big lips. They want to have this and that. And it's the mixed messages and the disrespect for our culture. The misappropriation of using braids, of walking down with cornrows saying they discovered cornrow. You got both Derek and all that. I mean, it's just not fair. And it goes back to how they portray us from way back. And we like Quan stated and Alex stated, we have to start from young, letting our ladies know that you're beautiful regardless of what. We might have some ladies on the chat right now who not really are comfortable with how they look. So we have to tell them every day, you're beautiful no matter what they say.
No, I agree. I mean, I do want to say, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share. If you want to, donate to the platform, please go ahead and hit us up on Super Chat, or you can hit Professor Griff up on Cash App or PayPal. So, ladies, I do enjoy the fact that we're able to talk about all these issues with our bodies, but I do want to dig deeper. And a lot of times we kind of gloss over a lot of different things, but I do feel as women, like, we need to talk about the ugly truth as well. You know what I mean? Like, we need to be able to talk about skin bleaching and surgery at the end of the day. Because I'm looking at these numbers in Jamaica, like how popular it is now, and it's like it's to a tune of like 2.8 million. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, this has become like a multi-billion-dollar industry. Skin bleaching, the Caribbean and Africa, they banned it actually for a while now. I think it's like in West Africa, they actually like banned the whole idea of using skin bleaching because so many women were going to buy this stuff. And basically if you use it long enough, you can actually get skin cancer from this stuff.
Cancer. Yes,
that's crazy. That's bizarre. Like, you're willing to kill yourself to kind of, like, I don't know what you're reaching for, but you're killing yourself for this idea of an image that does not exist. It will never work for you. You know what I mean? So I want to get your take on this, ladies, and see how you feel about this whole idea of skin bleaching and how prevalent it is in the Caribbean and Africa.
Right. It's a sensitive topic, especially in the Caribbean. I know most people, it was a big thing in Jamaica and other countries as well. When this artist, a reggae artist, started saying use cake soap. I don't know if anybody heard of Vice Cartel. Right. So he made it a big thing, and that's what everybody wants to do because they want to look fair. And actually, in most Caribbean countries, like I stated earlier, the lighter you are, the more attractive you are, and it means that you come from a family of wealth, or you are going to be more easily be able to get married. So it's a mind thing. It's if you're not comfortable with how you look, of course you're going to swing in a direction where you think, oh, lighter is better. Lighter is going to get me what I need. It's going to make me more money. And it's class system. Unfortunately, in a lot of countries, the lighter you are, like I stated earlier, the more money you go, wealth, the marriage, everything comes to you. The darker you are, the more people want you to step back. They don't even want to deal with you. So you actually, right, the skin bleaching in Africa, same thing. I have friends and family in Africa. It's the same thing all across the board. And when you sit down and speak to them, like, why would you do that? Risk getting cancer, risk having your skin with boils, with rashes, for what? And at the end of the game, people are supposed to love you for who you are, not for so much for what you look like. But unfortunately, that's not true all the time. I don't know if Alex want to say something.
No, I love your insight on this. Like, it's beautiful because it brings a different perspective on this whole issue that we're talking about. So what's your thoughts on this, Alex? I want to get your take on it.
Yeah, that was really powerful, Kat. And you mentioned earlier Europeans conquering other nations. I mean, the Philippines, they gained independence in 1946. And I use them for an example because I did a little research on this too before we started. And the Philippines, I mean, 1 out of 2 people are skin bleaching. And it's just as prevalent in India and Jamaica and here in the United States. But, when it comes to these, when it comes to these fads, like, it used to be like back in the Middle Ages and things like that, and to where royalty was seen as being pale because you weren't out in the field. But now it's where here, you know, when white people are tan, that shows you got money. You know, you can afford to go on vacation. So it's like, which one is it? We flip and we flop. Either you want to be super white and pale, or you want to be bronze and have a tan to show that you're not like anemic or sickly. It's like every couple of years, you know, it goes back and forth. But it's almost like a game. It's almost like an economic game, because for the people who are skin bleaching, they're risking their life. So how convenient for another population to watch that population die off. And more specifically, unfortunately, for those who do tend to have whiter skin in these societies to where there is a caste system, they are deemed more worthy. They are deemed more better. They are deemed more beautiful. And they are deemed more socially acceptable no matter what. And I think that is totally absurd. I think it's psychologically a mental illness. Yes. I think it's unfair. And it goes so far, Quan and Kat and everyone in the chat, that, I mean, in the Philippines, there are several methods to achieve what is perceived as a powerful and more beautiful, whiter skin. I mean, these methods are scrubs, there's lasers, there's wet and dry methods, there's dermabrasion, there's capsules, and get this, this is the psychotic part. They have intravenous bleaching. So basically, you can go to like a microdermabrasion specialist or a dermatologist and pay a couple $100 a pop. You lay in a bed and get a freaking thing put in your vein, and they bleach you through the IV. So what they're doing is they're literally having an IV inserted into one's vein to become whiter from the inside out by blocking melanin receptors. Okay? This is crazy as hell. Yeah. I mean, they have mercury in this skin bleaching stuff, for God's sake.
Yes, they do.
Mercury, that causes muscle weakness. So it's like these concoctions, they have vitamin C, they have mercury, which is deadly, they have kojic acid, and they have like a hydroquinone. It's basically pitched as a depigmenting agent. But they're not saying the side effects, which could be death. So, I mean, it's being treated like, you know, you're going to the tanner. But instead, you're going to lay down, just like if you're dehydrated from a hangover at the hospital. Instead of getting an IV with, you know, salt and water for fluid, you're getting skin bleaching put into your system. And these people use it as a way of life because they see it as beauty. So for me, like, where did the standard of a pale or extremely ghostly white pigment start as the absolute hierarchy as a social class beauty? Who said that's beauty? It's people killing themselves. Like, these are nations like India, Philippines, Jamaica, and people are buying this shit. Excuse me. They're really using it.
You are absolutely right. And I also want to include, like I said, anyone in the chat might want to chime in. We should also include the men, because if anybody know about that baseball player, Sammy Sosa, I mean, his skin is white as like he was born white, light, and he wasn't. Men are also going through this process, just like the reggae artist by Cartel. It's known for both men and women, and it's so sad that we destroy our skin just to look lighter, just to please the other masses. I mean, it's just disgusting.
Yeah. So you go ahead, Alex. You can go ahead. I was going to read the quote on. Carrie was talking about, you know, there's more black men, or quote unquote melanated men in Jamaica, who basically bleach their skin more than what women do. And when I was reading it, I was like, wait a minute, like, so this has infiltrated our men now? Like, this is bizarre, you know? And it's like, you know, when you get to that point, you got to start scratching your head and asking yourself, like, wow, you know, we got a lot of work to do. We bleeding. I mean,
because if we have that baby, no matter what you look like, how you bleach your skin, your baby's gonna still come out the way you look before you bleach your skin.
Yeah. Wow. Okay,
Alex. It's unfortunate. And I mean, again, going back to the body shaming of the beautiful black athlete who rightfully won. She put in the discipline to do that job. She won the state title fair and square. She didn't pick her wedgie, and she was hated on and discriminated by some adult that was being perverted and checking out her ass. I mean, why as black women are we solely viewed for our breasts? and our butts and our complexion and our lips and our hair. Aren't we so much more than that? Why are we being sexualized by society anyway? I mean, it's been overturned. We're still the matriarchs. We're still the creators. We're still the entrepreneurs. We're still the birth givers. We're still everything. And it's been reduced down to just, you know, ass and titties and, you know, this sexual type deviant display of debauchery. And we're only good for, you know, a good dance and a good time. And where is that? Why is that being perpetuated? So it's just really frustrating. And to hear that men are bleaching, I mean, there have been people in the past who have done it. If you have vitiligo or if you have excessive acne, I'm not saying nobody. But what I'm saying is, if you are intravenously shooting up mercury because you are dissatisfied with your pigment, that becomes a mental health issue. And that is psychotic. And that goes trauma, and that will breed to future generations. So self-denial needs self-exploration to come in tune with who you are, or else it's going to perpetuate. Because you don't need to become a white man or a white woman to have power. That's just absurd. So that's the narrative right there. Why can't we be successful and beautiful with melanin? Why does the melanin need to be erased in order to have capacity of influence? That in itself needs to be questioned.
And you're absolutely right, Alex. But at the same time, like I said, if we need more of us in these corporations, Quan said it before, in businesses, Professor Griff, if all you see at that table when you in that boardroom is white people and they're dictating exactly how you should look on that magazine, what do you think other people will see that's home? Your child, like I said, is watching television, watching these swimmers. If they pinpoint and telling you that that's ugly constantly, we need to get in that boardroom. We need to have our own magazine. We had Ebony, we had Jet, but we need to do more to put out there that Black is beautiful regardless of what anyone else says.
Yeah, that, I mean, clearly, you know, those were the magazines we went to see us, right? To see our beauty. But now they're no longer owned by these Black families. It's been sold off to these quote unquote white corporations. Excuse me, I hate keep going to that, but I mean, it's everywhere. I'm sorry, it's hard not to avoid it because it's everywhere. It's systematic, and it's just like, honestly, for me, I just want us to be able to look at this information and use it back into our communities. And because we have a lot of work to do. We basically have to, not like Alex said, this is mental. Like at this point, we need to sit and speak with someone because this stuff has ran so deep and rampant, and it's still going on to this day. It's like it's 2019. We only have a few months left in this year. And this thing has been going on like a well-oiled machine. And at some point, it's like we have to look at ourselves and say, when is going to be our liberation? Like, at what point is everyone going to wake up and realize what's going on? You know what I mean? So I want to get your take on this, lady. What's your take on what I just said?
Go ahead. Alex.
Yeah, it is a well-oiled machine. It's going to continue to perpetuate. I mean, and this is only one side of the earth. I mean, if we go to Africa, there's going to be plenty of people who are saying we are beautiful, we are strong. Our image is how the image should be, as a beauty standard here. So it's not to where every person thinks that white skin is the best. It's just unfortunately that these places that have been colonized by neo-colonialism has set that standard. And I think it's going to break. And it's unfortunate for these young girls who are growing up with parents who have bleached. They're going to have even more issues because their skin is darker, and they're going to want to have money to look like mommy too, or look like daddy. And I think I'm more shocked about the men who are skin bleaching than I am the women. And I don't know if that's fair, but I'm just like, geez, oh, Pete. We're either jailed, we're either drugged, we're either killed, we're either emasculated, or either now we're even reduced to look like you, but then there's still an innate sense of not belonging because the DNA says otherwise. So at what point do we just stop altogether and just be who we are? You know what I'm saying? Like, we need more books for these young girls. We need more representation of what Black is overall, and it comes in many shades. So whether or not you cocoa, you know what I'm saying, bronze, honey, dark nutmeg, whatever the case is, that's beautiful, and it should be reflected. And shout out to Rihanna for her Savage X Fenty collection that showcases many beautiful women from different genres and different tones. But anytime you try to suppress melanin, that in itself is wrong, and that should be an attack right there because that's racial bias. How do you attack melanin? How do you attack melanin? Melanin's found in fetus eyes, in all babies, in the birth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a sick, supremacist mindset that is causing division, it's causing deception, it's causing destruction. And for those nations that are utilizing these skin bleaching tactics to fit in or feel more socially acceptable, again, they're dying off. So it's a win-win for those oppressors. It's crazy.
Right. You're absolutely right, Alex. Go ahead, Quan.
Do you know that, I know we're talking about Africa and in the Caribbean, but there's not a place on this earth that you can go to that does not have a particular group that's dealing with the same issue.
Right.
Colorism is real on every continent on this planet.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can go as deep as Australia or China or wherever. At the end of the day, it's like, it's on not just us, but them as well, because it's going on in their countries. You know what I mean? And everybody's addressing it differently. But again, when it comes to our skin and our beauty and our health treatments, the first thing they want to do is go get something like bleaching. It's like, well, how about why don't you just let your flaws just pop and allow it to be, instead of trying to, reach for this unattainable beauty standard. I want to get your take on it, lady.
Yeah, and real quick, what I want to add to, more needs to be said about melanin and the power of melanin. Melanin being electric, melanin being powerful, it being able to absorb the sun rays, just like how fruit grows from sun. There's not a negative connotation with melanin. So that narrative needs to be changed, denounced, and exposed as well. So more people can be happier with who they are and not have to change their biological, skin organ to feel like they need to fit in with a society that's never going to allow them to anyway. So I think that it's just mature of this discussion to be even brought about in a professional, calm manner to denounce white supremacy mindset, to denounce racial bigotry, misogyny against the Black women, any type of destructive, self-hating, psychotic mental illnesses, so that we can stop them, so that we can have more self-awareness and be happy about being who we are, and stop suppressing the Black woman and now suppressing the Black man through skin cream. This is crazy.
Billion-dollar industry. It's a billion-dollar industry.
Yes, it is. And I think, Quan, you mentioned earlier, we also need to speak more about the cause and effect of using these cream products. We also have to let people know that the damages that it causes, and it could lead to cancer. Granted, we see documentary every now and then on YouTube, but not a lot is being done to let people know exactly how this might affect your body. I must also the brain cells, and let people know that there's help out there for people who are contemplating getting these surgery. Because you have people at my job that will fly across town just to get that hip, those butts. And we don't hear enough about those ladies that are dying at that table just to get that beautiful bosom, that buttocks, all that. We need to put that out there as well. And you brought up a good point about the body image.
Okay, and, so let's. I was gonna save it for the last topic. Well, let's just go ahead and jump on in, then, Carrie. Let's go on. Let's jump on in. Okay, so since we're on the topic about bodies and surgeries and what have you, and for me, I'm from Louisiana, and I live here now in Texas. And clearly, it's like I get asked so much, is your butt fake and blah, 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 and this and that. I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. But these Instagram models is fooling a lot of people. So you see the Kim Kardashians, you see what's on Instagram, and you see how you think in your mind they maybe just living this life and it's all beautiful and you want to be like her. And it's like, why would you want to look up to somebody that sells their body like that? They go have these surgeries, they have the butt shots, the BBL, the implants. And I know women who, sometimes you want to look good, right? And you've done all you can do and work yourself out, and you're still dealing with these flaws. And you see beautiful, intelligent women going on the table because they're not satisfied with themselves and they're willing to risk it. And I've been following this topic, for the last, few months or so. And I've been seeing so many deaths of women in Miami with these surgeries, and basically they're leaving paralyzed or dead or having heart attacks from embolism. And, it's crazy because it's like, is it really worth it? At the end of the day, is it worth putting your life in danger for this stuff? And a lot of people's like, oh, in the Dominican, it happens, they die in the Dominican. No, it's happened here on U.S. soil, okay? In Miami, there's 10 women that died within the last month and a half, right there in Miami. That's crazy. And these doctors are getting slaps on the wrist and just saying, okay, don't do it again. Or once the scandal moved, they'll just jump from clinic to clinic. But yet they still killing these women left and right. I'm like, no, we should be screaming from the top of the mountain, like, stop. Like, this is not us. This is not worth it. Your life is not worth it. Now, I want to talk about this, ladies, because it's a busload of women going to have surgery. And I want to get your take on, like, whether you for it or not, everybody has a right to their own decision. But at the end of the day, we still have to talk about this topic because there are women dying from it. And on top of it, there's a lot of women going into surgery as we speak.
Alex, you want to touch that one first?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will. You know, it's crazy because I thought about getting breast implants before. I was like, you know what, I would, you know, why not? You know, they $5,000. You go ahead and put them on layaway and pay on them. And I was like, you know what?
Layaway, okay.
Yes.
Layaway.
But I was like, no, I was like, no, you know, because if I want children, I don't want to have to go get it redone and things like that if I want more children. And then I thought, you know, well, hey, you know, a Brazilian butt lift or, you know, a little suck here and a little squirt there, that's $10,000. Okay, that's like a tax return. So I like bartered. I bartered in my mind, you know, adding to my physique or deducting. But I'm like, you know what? When it comes down to it, if I have to live with a little bit of extra cellulite, a chunk or two, or risk death, I think I'll choose the cellulite, Alex. You know what I'm saying?
Alex for 600, okay.
Look, I think it's becoming excessive. I mean, for example, we need to speak on the entertainers because it's very prevalent, especially with our young girls who are watching.
Yes.
You know, when you got Queen Naya getting butt surgeries at 23 and Cardi B getting
absolutely
implants at 26, and they're young, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to look your best. I am not putting them down. If I had some extra money, I might get my teeth done too. However, we also need to talk about those very real statistics and ramifications, such as disfigurement, because there have been many, many women who have died, and there have been many, many women who have received fix-a-flat tire serum in their butt cheeks from somebody who wasn't board certified. So the risk is real. So, you know, for me, I've decided, hey, I'm going to eat and I'm going to exercise and I'm going to live good. You know, so whether or not I choose to have 100% vegan plant-based diet and work on cardio, or if I want to go back to including meat, doing an 80-20 type ordeal, I want to make sure I'm healthy mentally and emotionally, because I don't want to become so restricted that I have a emotional disconnection with food, like, oh damn, if I eat that chew, a moment on the lips is a lifetime on the hips. I don't want to bind myself. However, we can't just automatically default to surgery to fix who we are, because we're not broken. Hello? So I think that more body types need to be celebrated. I think the main focal point should be health. And this one Coca-Cola type image is going to wear out soon, because men are getting sick of fake butts, to be honest. And they're getting sick of fake butts, to be honest. Men want to see a healthy woman that's going to be there, because after a while, the sexy look is going to fade away. And your mothering skills and your chemistry and your compatibility and your peace is what's going to be more important than your body type. So that's the long-term message we need to share with our young girls, in addition to the harms of surgery that looks so glamorous, but we don't talk about the oozing pus marks and the 6 months downtime and the deflation and the augmentation hazards and all the bad stuff. So we gotta include that. And I'm not knocking anybody who got their stuff done. Hey, more power to you. I'm just saying, let's expose those men and women who got those breast implants and vaginal rejuvenation surgeries where they are 20 years from now and see what's up and be honest about those statistics too.
Right. You said everything, Alex. Yeah. Right on. You hit it right on the nail. My concern also, like, I'm going back to my job with the Spanish people, my people. We also saw a whole bunch of people at my job getting the sleeves. I don't know if you know about the people who are overweight just to slim down. That also backfired at one point. People was getting the sleeves so they could stop eating. Some people actually, was sick. Their abdominal was fading. So you're right. And the underground, absolutely right, with Carly B and all of them, is underground surgery, also killing our sisters. We dying by the minute. Right now, like Quan said, there could be somebody right now on the table, and next thing you know, she's no longer alive. So to get the message out there, if you are going to do these things, try to get somebody who's certified, who is well known. That's my concern. And so that way you could get up and go and just look beautiful. If that's what you need, that's what you want, go by all means do it. Because I, for once, also wanted to have some surgery myself. But I overcome that as I get older. I'm like, hey, you gotta like me for what I am and who I am and what I look like. So that's a mental thing, like we all stated, that deals back with mental illness and trying to live up to the hype of the next person. If we learn to love ourselves and learn to, appreciate what we have, then there'll be less sisters going under the knife. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Go ahead, Alex. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And not only that, but I would recommend to women and men, more so the women, because that's what we're speaking on tonight predominantly, get therapy before you make a body-altering decision. Make sure that's what you really, really want for your mind, body, and soul prior to permanently altering your physique, because some of these things can't be reversed. So again, I'm not hating on anybody, but make sure the decision is for you holistically and not just to make money for 10 years, because that money gonna come with some problems, and some of those can't be fixed.
Right. Well, I would definitely say we're not by any means
bashing
to shame you guys to not have surgery. We just want to put the facts out there so that you know the risk at the end of the day. I mean, I just hate to not discuss this topic because, again, I know personal women who have selected to have those things. I don't knock them. At the end of the day, hey, every tub has to stand on his own bottom. So if this is what you like, guess what? I love it. So, whatever choice, I just want you to be safe about it. If you are going to go down that route, realize that there are risks and they can puncture your lungs or your intestines or your stomach. You get the burns. On top of that, what about the neurosis? Or you gotta have that surgically removed. Like there's risk with this stuff. And now they're saying the implants is causing breast cancer. Okay, and I'm like, oh my God, this should be like a class action freaking lawsuit because you should know better. That's just like you putting lead in a doggone pacemaker. Everybody has to have surgery to remove it so they can put something else in replacement. That's the same thing that's going to happen with these people who are going to have to deal with these issues.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get your take on that, ladies.
That was a beautiful point.
Yeah. I know, we keep going, yes.
I know, look. And you know what's funny? It's that one German woman who's getting all type of melanin shots to the point she's orange because she thinks melanin is so beautiful.
Yeah, I see that one.
Yeah, she's paying for melanin shots. And she's like, she's Trump orange, okay? She's like Oompa Loompa orange. And she's just, you know what I'm saying? Wow. You can't tell her. You can't, and she has like a real thick Slavic, Netherlands type, Denmark, Danish accent.
I promise you I'm trying not to laugh.
Hey, but you
I promise you I'm trying not to laugh.
She getting her melanin shots though, and her melanin is popping. You can't tell her nothing different. So it's just funny it's funny how we view beauty in different places. But I just had to say that real quick. Y'all Google her. It's for real. Google the melanin lady.
And you know what's so crazy? It's like we're damn near killing ourselves to be like them, and they're damn near killing themselves to be like
reverse. Exactly.
I say, you know what? Our creator has a very good sense of humor because you see stuff like this is like they're tanning their skin to be like darker like us and filling their lips and all this other stuff, and we're bleaching our skin and trying to bake and all this other craziness, and it's like, oh my God, like it's just, if you just step back and look at it all, it's like, this is crazy. We're fighting for their beauty, and they're basically
stealing ours.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. What's your thought on that, ladies?
Lastly, I'll say it is. I mean, it even hits home for me because I know when wintertime comes here in the Midwest, we might not have sun for like 6-7 months. I'm like, oh God, time to skin. I don't want to look like Casper, so I might hit the theater a few times and get a piece of, pigment. So it's crazy. But again, I think that women need to recognize melanin is not an enemy. Melanin is not denounceable. Melanin is not anything that's evil. And the narrative needs to be changed and put back to self-love and self-awareness. So that white supremacist mindset of racism, you calling people out, talking about their inner gluteal cleft is showing, man, y'all need to stop. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So, so Cardi B, basically, I saw a post from her recently, and she was like, if you mad and you hating, or you telling us we shouldn't have surgery, you're a hater. Like, at the end of the day, it's my money. I do what I want. And a lot of people were like co-signing it. Like, yeah, like you have the very right to elective surgery if you want it, So it's just like, is that empowerment in the sense that, hey, you can make a decision? Can't no one tell you what to do with your life? You can make your own decision, whether it's good for you or bad. Like, but then on the flip side, it's like, okay, you're allowing yourself to say, oh, it's empowerment, I can do what I want, it's my money, but at the flip side, you're not showing the young girls the negative side of this. You know what I mean? So I want to get your take on it, ladies. What's your thoughts on this, Alex?
Okay, you want to go ahead?
Oh, well, thank you. No, but you no, stop. No, but this has come from a woman who said black women look like roaches. I mean, I don't take anything she said for face value. That's number one. Number two, then she had a breakdown herself. She couldn't tour for a couple months or a year or something because of all the surgery she was doing. So she's right. You can do whatever you want with your money. I understand. I respect that. But you're just a puppet. At the end of the day, there are things that's going to happen to your body, like you stated. I have friends, I have family co-workers who they get that butt done, breast done, and 2 years later, 3 years later, have to go back and get it redone. So you're right. You're absolutely right. We have to talk about these things. We don't. We glorify that butt being up there, that breast being up there and everything, but we don't talk about what's come behind it. You might not be able to breathe. You might not be able to eat well. You probably can't sleep. I mean, it's a whole lot of things that we need to discuss. And I absolutely agree with both ladies.
You remember the case with K. Michelle?
Yep.
Yes. Another one. Okay? It's just propaganda selling us. That's why I stated earlier, it's mixed messages. We as black women have to stop listening to the massive, to the elites, letting us know that our beauty is worthless. And then when you turn around, you see I was gonna say cracker, but you turn around, you see someone that doesn't look like you and try to look like you, like the lips, the hair, everything. It's crazy. It's crazy to me.
Yeah. You know what else we need to discuss too? We need to also discuss the nasal cavity, because there's been many celebrities decades ago in our community that get this nose job done to where it's like the more your nasal cavity is exposed and the pointier and slimmer your nose is, that's like a sign of arrival. Like, why is
the rhinoplastia?
Yeah, like what part of the game is that? It's a more of a, westernized, Eurocentric type mindset. And I think one of the reasons why Cardi B receives so much flack is because of her mouth. Because there are other women who have had the same similar skin things done, such as Little Kim and maybe even LaToya Jackson. But then out here talking about, that's my money, I can do it, it's my money. You know what I'm saying? Some things just let it be. I mean, attitude and presence is so much more than body. So
you absolutely
we're not telling people what to do with their money. If you work hard and you want to, do whatever. If you want to get an ear on your back, more power to you. But don't do it with
that ear. I'm getting one tomorrow. Now just say.
Can you hear me now? Look, but don't do it because you hate yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it because you're insecure. Don't do it because you don't feel comfortable enough to be yourself without living with surgeries. That's the whole thing. So I don't know. I don't want
to. That's like the eyes, right? I think it was Tiny that went to Africa to get her eyes lightened.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, there's so many stars.
Damn near blind.
Yeah, her daughter.
Wow.
Her daughter. I'm saying, at what point, just because you have money, do you have to go do these things? I mean, who are you pleasing? If you're doing it for yourself, like I stated earlier, and you want to make yourself beautiful, that's great and dandy. But you have to also discuss, like Quan said, Alex, the stuff that comes behind it, that damage that you do to your body. And that's what we don't seem to talk about often. It's like we have to love what we have at right now. We can't be uncomfortable. We can't be saying to ourselves, I want more, I want more. More is not great all the time. It's what you have now. Less is sometimes the best thing, because guess what? You live longer. If you get these surgery, you have to worry about what could happen 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now. People don't worry. They worried about what they look like now instead of what you're going to look like later.
So I got a question, Kat and Quan, and to the Sirius Mindz family in the chat room. So in regards to the body issues and the dysmorphia and the, you know, just buying a sexier build, when it comes to the butt, you know, there's white women buying butts. There's there's black women buying butts. It seems like if you got ass, that's all you need in society to show you've made it.
I know that's right.
If you have a fatty, you know, mass on your bottom side, you don't need to explain nothing, and your bill's gonna be paid because you got a fat butt. Where does that start?
I don't even know, because I mean, I got a little one and I don't get nothing paid. I pay my own bills.
Okay, so I'm just going to speak on behalf of all the big booty sisters. So let me just make this very clear. First of all, let me just say this: we as women, you know, not everyone with a big butt is, you know, getting men coming at it, because, you know, if you got that energy about you, they're not even gonna cross your path straight. They gonna look, but they were like, she ain't to be toyed with. You know what I mean? So yeah, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you see the Instagram models who are doing it where you can book them, and I've heard some very nasty, like criminal-like stories from a lot of these women that are on these things, and the stuff they have to do is sticking bottles up each other, and people are this crap. Like, that's what I have an issue with. Why are you just brutalizing yourself for the dollar, man? Like, that's crazy. What's your thought on this, ladies? And we're going to close out after this.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know what? Again, as we all know, this isn't an attack, but just keeping it real, talking about those irreversible damages such as blindness, death, liver dysfunction, freaking, you know, body dysmorphia, sagging, particles being in your bloodstream and flowing about. I just think that it's messed up that once we see a woman with breast implants and a butt implant and her teeth done and her eyes done and her lips done and her weave done, it's like a pretty package. But what's the true substance? Like, it's almost as if you see that Instagram model, you're like, damn, she's fine. That's all I want, no matter what. Okay, well, do you know her value system? Do you know her beliefs? What's her foundation? Because you got plenty of brothers out here and sisters who will say that they don't want that type of woman. They see through that type of woman. That type of woman has no substance behind her because she's only concerned with her outward appearance. And unfortunately, there have been many, many women who do get surgeries done that can't stop. And they regret it because their nose becomes too small. Or they're on their third or fourth or fifth breast augmentation. Or their butt needs to be taken out because it's too heavy or saggy. Or they have curvature of the spine because their breasts are so heavy. So I think that for the women who do have regrets, they should speak more so to everyone about the decisions they made and how it impacted them on a negative perspective, so that we get a full holistic view from the benefits and the negative side effects from making a choice to physically alter yourself from a procedure or operation that's not something that can be taken off, such as lip gloss or hair extensions or, you know, something of that nature. So again, I think we need to have more self-awareness in the Black community. I think that we need to be comfortable with our natural hair. I think that the image of having this white, pale, ghostly skin should be broken in our community and other communities of color, so that we can stop being oppressed mentally and have the power of being who we are beyond a shape and in a mindset to become more powerful and in tune overall. Because our young girls here need to know that they are fine with being who they are and to celebrate their Blackness by just being it. You don't need to limit yourself or think because you don't have a fat ass or light skin that you're not worth it. You are worth it.
That's right. Yes, and I just want everyone to know in the chat, or their daughters, whoever, Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Wake up early in the morning before you go to bed and tell yourself you are beautiful. I'm a little small person, but I have muscles like crazy, and I will snap somebody's neck. Okay? So
Come on,
beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Just
Yes.
believe in yourself and love how you look and appreciate your body. That's all I have to say.
Okay,
Yeah.
so again, ladies, everyone listening in the chat, you are beautiful at the end of the day. Don't look at their standard and decide, oh, I need to be like that. No, you're beautiful. You're enough. You know, so at the end of the day, just look in the mirror and love yourself. You know, we always want to encourage everyone to just find something. I don't know, I don't care what it is. Find something in yourself that you feel valued for, and you build on that. You build upon that, and you tell yourself constantly, because sometimes you have to speak into yourself and encourage yourself when no one else is rooting for you. So I just continue to believe in yourself. You're beautiful. Love that big nose, love that nappy hair, love that skin color, love who you are, because God made you that way. So there's no mistake when it comes to him. So we just want to thank everyone that's signing on right now with us, with the Sister Cypher. We ask that you hit the like button, subscribe, and share. We thank you once again for joining us with Sister Cypher. If there's anyone that want to participate in the Sister Cypher, you can hit up Professor Griff on the email. I drop it in the chat room. So thank you so much. Peace.
Thank you, everyone. Peace.
See you, Sirius Mindz. Have a good night.
Good night.